Hello, my name is Trevor, and welcome to TechInform. I'm super excited to be here because TechInform is back. This is like the 5th or 6th time I feel like the site's come back, but I wanted to give a little bit of a backstory on what's gone on with TechInform. Who am I? I've been technically around for a long time in some regards, a very short amount of time in other regards, and in a new regard, see, there's a lot of regards, I am here for the first time. So I'm going to quickly go through the story, and I'm super excited. So let's just get right into it. So TechInform started back in 2010 by a guy named Ryan. He loved technology. He had a YouTube channel, I believe, called Ryan Knows Tech, and that and BMWs was his favorite thing. And it's crazy to say that TechInform is over 15 years old now. It's absolutely insane. It started out as a tech blog at techinform.us. You can actually see the current version of the website behind me. And it just kind of evolved into YouTube content. But honestly, YouTube was never pushed as hard as it should have been, as the site really focused on text-based content and blog-style content, which was very popular in that time period on the internet. I actually first became part of the story back in around 2012, 2013, where I joined TechInform as a contributor. I made a couple posts on the site, but really as a back-end developer. You know, I helped spruce up the site, changing WordPress stuff, getting access to emails. Like, I remember there was a bunch of technical issues when I first joined. And I essentially, when in high school, I took a summer, and TechInform was my project until school started. And to be honest, I kind of left it after that. And then from there, TechInform had its highs and its lows. There was periods of time where there was lots of content, things were going really good. And there were other times where things were, well, not so good. And there'd be months or even years where no content would be posted to the site. I do have to give a shout out to a guy named Brad. I'm, again, not sure of the full time period, but I believe around 2017, 2018, he reached out to Ryan and became like the editor-in-chief, if you will, of TechInform, and he tried reviving it for a good chunk of time, but kind of ran into the same issues, where, you know, written media is just kind of, let's be honest, dead, and you either have to be the top 1% or honestly pivot and go into other types of media, you know, video or whatever else. So he eventually stopped working on it, and the site became kind of abandoned from, like, I believe like 2019 to 2025. I actually reached out to Ryan back in 2022, and I asked him if I could acquire TechInform, and he said I could, and we made a deal, and everything was looking really good. And he came back to me and said that he just didn't have time to deal with it right now. I totally understood it. He runs his own like BMW repair shop, super into cars, and I fully support him. And if anything, there's a link down in the description to what he's doing nowadays with his whole BMW thing. I'm sorry, I'm not as much of a BMW fanboy as he is, though I've owned a BMW, so there. Maybe that gives me some credit for him. I had a 330xi, 2004. Where was I going with this? Oh, he was super busy. I'm not going to lie, I was disappointed at the time, but I moved on and didn't really look back until 2025, just earlier this year. I believe it was like April, where I reached out to him again and was like, hey, I'd like to inquire TechInform. Can we make this happen? And this time around, it went a lot better, and we made it work. And from there, I will say, technically, I owned a part of TechInform. A company that I'm part owner of bought TechInform from Ryan. I didn't buy TechInform myself. And I wasn't sure even back then if that was a mistake or not. Not because there was any issues with the company I partially own. I'm still 100% involved in that company. That's my day job. I'm not going to name names or anything like that. But it was a situation where I just wasn't sure if that was the right thing, because I didn't know the direction TechInform had to go in. Because I thought from the very beginning, there's a very good chance this whole platform, if the name's going to survive, if the brand's going to survive, it needs to become, honestly, about a person, not names on a written media style blog, or it needs to be more personable, like every other, honestly, big tech YouTube channel. And I kind of knew if I wanted to do this, it has to become me. But I wasn't sure where we were going with it at the time. And, you know, quite frankly, I also I kind of didn't want to waste my personal funds, also not knowing where something was going to go. Granted, again, hindsight's 2020. I probably should have just bit the bullet then. But the company acquired it, and I spent a bunch of time, effort getting a new website up, which is what you see behind me, and, you know, really trying the written media path. And that works okay. And I'm not going to lie, a bunch of AI help in the written part, because I'm just not a writer. The problem is I'm not a writer, and I can't be post for me full time. And over time, I got a little burnt out of just making posts, you know, especially about things I'm not super passionate about. I am way better at making videos and talking to a camera than I am, you know, writing stuff on a website. And it also is kind of disheartening when, let's be honest, no one's really reading the website. So with that all being said, I kind of stopped, and the last thing I wanted was another hiatus for TechInform, but I just didn't know what the future looked like, and I needed some time to think about it. And after a couple of months, it came to the conclusion that I think I have to purchase TechInform from the company I'm part of. And that's exactly what has happened. So I am now 100% the owner of TechInform. Well, at least a company that I own 100% of is the owner of TechInform. So TechInform is now under Gloop Media Group LLC, which is, again, an entity that I fully own. And yeah, now I can do whatever I want here. It's my entity. And I think TechInform needs to honestly be me and the things that I'm interested in technology. And I'm not sure what that means and what that's going to look like in practice. Does the website even survive? I really don't know. I don't know what the website becomes. I will say a decision has to be made in the next couple of weeks, because there's a bill due for the site that I don't know if I'm paying or moving over or bringing back the old classic WordPress site. I still have the old archive of that, or maybe no more blog. I do think that the primary focus moving forward is right here on YouTube and other social media. But there's going to be a lot of figuring things out. So thank you for watching this far and being part of that, because this is the beginning of something new again. And I am super excited. There's going to be a lot of moving parts, a lot of experimenting. But if you come for the ride, I'll promise you hopefully a fun time and something all about technology and having fun with that, which is my whole life. So I don't know about an upload schedule. I don't know what things are going to look like. There's going to be a lot of changes. If you haven't already, subscribe here. Post your ideas, thoughts, anything in the comments. I'm going to have a bunch of links in the description as well for social media. I'll be updating stuff there. A bunch of stuff is going to be updated there in the next day or two anyway. We're going to have some new logos and some new branding on social media. And I'll try to update all that accordingly. A lot of updates on X. So go take a look at all of that down below and follow it if you want to. But anyway, with that all being said, I'm not going to waste any more of anyone's time. This is the beginning of something new again. I'm very excited. And all I can say is welcome to TechInform. I'll see you guys next time.